Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Today I'm going to be going more in depth into the 1962 Columbus Day Bigfoot body that was apparently recovered about 30 days or so after the storm. I made a video about it back in December and it seemed to gain a lot of interest, so since then, I've had a lot of documents, apparent documents that were written up, sent to me, and they're very interesting, and I've been trying to piece everything together. It's really a tangled web of information, and it's a deep rabbit hole. Like, trying to put it all together and figure this out is almost seems to me like I'm trying to find the Zodiac killer or something. It's just crazy. Super interesting. It's taken up a lot of my time just trying to figure out the order in which I want to go about doing this and how I want to present it. So I just want to start off, by stating that the Columbus Day storm in 1962 did happen, and it hit on October 12th. And there's lots of footage of that event, and it was just a really savage storm. There's a lot of cool facts that I looked up, and one of them says here, in less than 12 hours, more than 11 billion board feet of timber was blown down in Northern California, Oregon, and Washington combined. Some estimates say 15 billion board feet of timber. That's a lot of wood. That's a lot of trees blown down. And so the idea that this Sasquatch was killed by a tree falling down is not totally crazy. I'm sure there were many other animals that were killed in this storm. So that isn't too far-fetched. So about a month after the storm rolls through, stories start coming up of a Bigfoot body being found that was killed and crushed under a tree. I have an eyewitness account here that was written by an individual who's known as Jerry Lustin. And apparently he's one of the guys who was involved in finding the creature. So this is November 1962 when the creature was found. It was in the early hours of November 9th when me and several other men were working the Dew Ridge area, clearing windfalls from the road in the area. If my memory serves me, it was 8:30 a.m. or so when we saw what we thought to be a dead bear under a big old growth tree on Dew. As we approached the bear, it became plain to us that it was not a bear. The animal was something between ape and human in looks, only larger than anything I've ever seen before or since. The animal was lying under the tree face down and dead. We all looked at it, and to our surprise the animal had hands and feet, not paws. It was covered in a short crop of black hair, and obviously not anything ever seen by us before. We needed a Forest Service foreman to come to the site right away to look at it, because we were not to remove any fatalities from windstorm damaged trees without Forest Service being on site. We had well understood protocol to go through in case we came across a car with people in it under a tree. Ranger Guy Adams from Cave Junction arrived and took photos from both sides of the tree. Then more people came up to do the same. As the site filled with Forest Service and unknown people, we were directed to cut a 10 section out above the creature for removal. I don't know what a 10 section is, but part of the tree, maybe a 10-foot section. It just says 10 section. Anyways, it was after we removed the tree off the animal that they got branch poles out and turned the animal over onto its back. The animal's eyes were wide open and dried blood was all over the mouth and ears of the animal. The eyes were black in color, teeth were jagged and yellowish. It had breasts on it like a female, only dropped and small in shape. It was a female, of course. Everybody was told to stay away from the animal at this point. By noon, a truck had showed up and they used block and tackle to pick the animal up and swing it into the back of the flatbed. At that point, the bigwig from Medford came and told us to leave the road and go to Glary Creek, some 5 miles away, to work for the rest of the week. They started acting like squirrels to many of us, nervous and snappy. It was 3 days later when Guy told us that the animal was an ape escaped from a home in O'Brien. We knew it was bullshit. Because who keeps an 8-foot ape for a pet? We knew when we uncovered the animal it was no ape. We didn't know about Bigfoot then, but thought it was some kind of wild man/gal. For some time after, many stories came out on the animal as to what it was. My brother-in-law took 3 pictures of it, and I hope to give copies to Emery if Stan can locate them. I don't know who this Jerry Lustin guy actually is. There is a photo of him here. There's also 3 newspaper articles that came out, apparently. Now, what I can find on the internet, you don't actually see the original newspaper articles, which to me is a problem. I want to see the actual documents. But I'll read these to you anyways. Article 1. As of yesterday, there is still no identification on the strange animal found on Dew Ridge in southern Oregon on November 8th. See, here's a problem. This says November 8th. And what I just previously read with the Jerry Lustin fella says November 9th. Anyways, continuing on. As of yesterday, there is still no identification on the strange animal found on Dew Ridge in southern Oregon on November 8th. The creature is something still unidentified, but is said to be some kind of a mutant human gorilla type. It was found deceased by a crew of men who were clearing debris from the nearby roads. It was apparently killed by a Douglas fir tree in the massive windstorm on October 12th. Officials from the United States Forest Service are not commenting on the find. An unnamed source said the creature was covered in dark hair and was not any known animal to any of the people present at the site. People nearby in Cave Junction claim it is the creature in Indian legend known as Sasquatch. Indians claim for hundreds of years these creatures roamed the deep forests of America. The name of the creature means wild man of the woods, according to Johnny Duncan, a Klamath Indian. The animal was removed by Forest Service officials and was sent to a lab in California, according to locals in the town. Forest Service spokesman would not confirm or deny the animal. Story by Clayton Lewis, chief reporter for the Independent Daily. The second article, Amity News Source, November 14th, 1962. Crews find legendary Bigfoot. A logging crew contracted to the U.S. Forest Service found what some say is the legendary Bigfoot. The being is a large man-like hominid, according to local wildlife biologist Kirk Hansen. The name Bigfoot gained popularity in 1958 to 59 when a contractor in Northern California found large prints of an unknown animal on a narrow dirt logging road. The Bigfoot found by the crew is said to be female in sex and very heavy in build. The animal was in a badly decomposed state but was still intact enough to identify as a species not known. A call today to the ranger station produced no information on what the being or animal might be. Though several pictures of the animal are circulating about in the surrounding area, the Forest Service said no information nor identification has been made. And lastly, the third article. On a clear and cold November day of last year, the crew of Griffey and Laird Company were looking for trees blocking the road from O'Brien to Grayback on the Oregon-Californian border. What they found was nothing short of astonishment when approaching a large downed tree. At first, it appeared that a very large black bear had fallen victim to the windstorm of October 12th. Upon closer examination of the animal, the crew saw a foot and a left arm and hand protruding from under the tree. No known species of animal could explain the body as any known animal that is native to the Pacific Northwest. It was like a large, hair-covered man, only with features somewhat like a prehistoric human or Neanderthal, but larger than any known to exist. Apparently the animal had been crushed by a large tree blown over in the storm. The proper authorities were quickly dispatched to the scene and took the animal away for further examination by forensic experts. No further word on what the examination found, but in a curious turnabout face, the Forest Service is now saying no such animal was found, removed, or shipped anywhere. In the meantime, many of the people in the area have seen pictures of the dead animal and are accusing the Forest Service of trying to hide the animal from the public. Yeah, so those are the 3 newspaper articles. Like I said, all I'm seeing right now is what's typed up on the internet. I don't have any photos of the actual documents, and I wish I did. Like, I still have to be cautious going into this kind of thing, because I have to be critical, right? So there's another document that came to light more recently. It was apparently written after 1975 and meant to be given to a person who was not previously read in or cleared on the Bigfoot body incident. So I'm going to read this case to you. November 9th, 1962, 8:30 a.m. O'Brien, Southwest Oregon. Oregon/California border. An elderly female Bigfoot suffering from Lyme disease, estimated age 40, about 8'2" and weighing 770 pounds, was killed on October 10th when a windstorm knocked a large Douglas fir down, crushing her. A road clearing crew found her, and they did not have the foggiest idea what she was. Even the United States Forest Service did not know what she was. The Bigfoot was badly decomposed. Nevertheless, from the description, she was obviously a Bigfoot. At noon, a truck came and took the creature away. The district manager then ordered all workers to relocate 5 miles away for the rest of the week. He acted nervous and snappy around the workers. A U.S. Forest Service photographer, men from a university, along with a logging crew and some locals, took many photos. The district manager of the U.S. Forest Service ordered that all photos be turned into him because it had not yet been proven that the death was natural. That is, possibly it was a crime. Not all were turned in, and some photos in private hands still exist. For many years, one of the photos was on display in a local restaurant. 3 days later, the local ranger, Guy Adams from Cave Junction, began spreading a lie that the Bigfoot was a pet ape that had escaped from a local residence. The story was not written up in the local press until 1963. The Bigfoot was sent to California, then to Golden, Colorado for further examination. From there, in November, the body was sent to the DOI in San Diego for study. A file on the Bigfoot, and it gives the apparent file number, along with bones and photos, was sent to the Smithsonian Museum. Then the file case was closed to the public, and the photos and file were marked classified. The DOI ordered the Smithsonian to send the bones to the DOI on May 24, 1963. So there's another portion of that document, which is from 1963. It says here, the bone structure of the specimen is known to DGDS analysis. Tissue samples indicate non-human. Regarding unknown biped, the subject discussed in the original file is complete with the finding of Dr. D.S. Gold. This is a medical conundrum as to the true species of said subject. Subject appears to be some species not known to date. Some indications are most related to human, yet many indicate of a gorilla type. It is noted the length of the subject is clearly not gorilla nor human because subject measurements indicate 98 inches in height. Estimation weight at time of death is 770 pounds. This clearly concludes the subject is not consistent with known species of human or gorilla. Conclusion: sample is not consistent with any known species of animal/primate known. Seal per request noted. So that's that document. The first part of it's basically like a rehash of what that Jerry Lustin character wrote up. So this document is believed to be written by a guy named H.A. Miller, who was a government employee at the time, and he's believed to be someone whose main purpose was to investigate these Bigfoot body cases and to study the corpses. Now, in my next video on this matter, I'm going to be going more into the people involved in the case. So this Dr. H.A. Miller, how did this document come to light? I don't know. I want to find out. And it's interesting. Like, this is supposed to be a document made up by this guy, but once again, just like the newspaper reports, I don't have an actual file or a picture of a file. It's just what's typed up on the internet. So that again, to me, is an issue, and I have to tread lightly with a case like this. It gets way more interesting and way more complicated. There's more characters involved. The whole thing is just crazy. Like, if it's real, if it's legitimate and not a made-up story, then it is proof that, you know, Bigfoot is a known creature to the government and that they're trying to cover it up. That would be the case if this is real. The other side of the coin is that it was simply made up, and, you know, it looks really good and all. Like, there's scientific words and everything, and many different people apparently involved in it. But people are also very capable of making up stories. I mean, we know that. People have been writing stories since we could talk to each other, basically. So yeah, I have my reservations still, but I am going to further explore the topic with you. And so in the next video, we're going to go deeper into who this H.A. Miller was. So I have another document that's apparently written by this H.A. Miller, and he's kind of chronicling his history with the government and, you know, how he first got involved with these cases and all that kind of stuff. So it gets really interesting. But thanks for watching this episode of Mountain Beast Mysteries. We'll get back to you very soon with a part 2 to this video.